Good evening. How are you doing today? How are you doing? Yeah? Okay. Have you had a good day? Are you ready for a bedtime story? Well, it's funny. I mean, I do enjoy, it's really fun rereading this book with you. And it's funny though because it's not very relaxing. You know, it's a pretty intense story. You don't mind? Okay. Yeah, it's not exactly like, although I don't know, I used to read like Lord of the Rings before bed. I guess I just like books. And whether the story's like a little more intense like this one, like postapocalyptic or whatever. I mean, still reading, I don't know. But you find it enjoyable. Yeah, me too. Me too. Well, the story, of course, is like particularly nostalgic for me because I kind of lived it in a weird way, where's the team right now? They're in their apartment, right? They're at the Jefferson, I didn't call it that, but they're about to go explore, I think, and go out and see like the world like just after the event, and it's gonna get pretty crazy. Are you ready for it to get a little crazy? I think you are. I think you are. Okay. Jeremy's Run. Chapter 5, Book 1, Ladark, Version 2, 2nd edition. Well, the first edition was funny. So, your grandpa wrote the first edition, and then it's amazing how much changed in a short period of time. Just like economics. Like, okay, weird example, okay? When he first did the first version, marijuana was illegal in the state of California. A few years later, it was legalized. So the scenes where they were talking about it as like almost like a bargaining chip were very different in 2010 than 2015. By 2015, it kind of changed. So there's a lot of like little changes that were done in the dialogue just to make it more generic and flow better. So yeah, that's what version 2 or is about. Okay, enough banter. Here we go. Chapter 5. Karina yawned. What time is that? Jeremy checked his watch. 12:20. Cade turned to the others. I don't suppose any of you has a gun. Matt shook his head. Jeremy hesitated. I've got one. Matt stared at him. Since when? I got it a couple of years ago. You never said anything about that. It's not the kind of thing you advertise. Get it, Cade said, along with some extra ammo if you got it. I'll get my Beretta. Jeremy and Cade retreated to their respective rooms. Sarah wandered over to the table and scarfed a few M&Ms, yellow and greens. Cade and Jeremy returned. 32 H&R mag, Cade said, inspecting Jeremy's weapon. Odd caliber, but it's a nice piece. It's light and small. I like the concealed hammer. No snags on the draw. Great for concealed carry. Good grip. Where'd you get it? My dad gave it to me. He liked the 32 because you get 6 rounds compared to 5 with the 38, and it's got like over 90% of the stopping power of the 38. It'll do. Can you shoot? Not for shit. I assume you fired it? A few hundred rounds. It's hard to hit anything at 25 yards. Cade glanced at the 25-round box on the table. How many more of those do you have? Like 10, I think. Well, Cade said, hardly anybody can hit much at 25 yards, especially in a gunfight. Just think, front sight. The main thing is to shoot back. Nobody likes the idea of getting shot. Got your piece? Jeremy said. Cade nodded and glanced over at Karina, who had passed out on the sectional. He told Matt to wake her. Why? because I don't want her waking up and wandering out alone if we're gone. People can sense when something's wrong, even when they're asleep. You think? Matt said. She's pretty wasted. We can't risk it. Matt approached the sectional and gently shook Karina's shoulder. Hey, wake up, sweetheart. He shook her several more times until she startled and opened her eyes. What? Is it over? No. We're going outside to take a leak. Do you want to wait here? Yeah, fine. Okay. I'll be in bed. I've got to be at the store by 9. She squinted at him. Why are you going outside? Bathroom break. No flushing that other toilet. And you can sleep in. I can't sleep in. I have a meeting with the people from Savros at 9. Okay. Let's hope I'm crazy. And let's hope those people show up. Karina got up, a little unsteady. I'm thirsty. There are a couple bottles of water in the fridge, Jeremy said. Help yourself. Matt held the light for her while she retrieved the water, took a few swallows, replaced it, and headed off to their bedroom. We'll be back in a little bit, Matt said. Don't open the door for anybody. She stopped at the bedroom door. Okay. I mean, nobody. Not even Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio. Especially those guys. You're just jealous. Don't you wish, Buttercup? She grinned and disappeared into the bedroom. Let's go, Cade said. Jeremy slid his weapon into a pocket along with a handful of extra rounds and deposited the flashlight in the other. Cade took the headlamp. He checked both ways before fully opening the door. Gooch joined them, and Cade looked down at him. Okay, sport, you can come, but you gotta keep quiet. Silencio. Gooch looked up at him, his pale eye almost glowing in the reflected moonlight sifting from beyond the door. They slipped out, and Jeremy quietly locked the door behind them. The apartment's door opened into a hall with a concrete half-wall facing the open area where the shrubs and palms grew. Beyond that, another half-wall and the parking garage. By the way, this exactly describes my old apartment. It's like kind of trippy. From where they stood, a pair of taller palms obscured their view into the garage, too dark to make anything out in there. They hesitated, listening. Cade watched Gooch. The dog sniffed, but gave no indication of danger. Looks clear, Cade said just above a whisper. They turned left, navigating by moonlight. Gooch made more noise than any of them, claws clicking on concrete. When they entered an enclosed portion of the hall at the end of the walkway, Cade turned on a headlamp, red setting, and kept it shielded. They turned left and opened the second door on the right to a stairwell. The four of them made their way quietly down the 6 half flights. When they reached the lower landing, Cade killed the light and slowly depressed the crash bar on the door that exited to Princeton, which ran behind the complex. He winced when the door scraped and squeaked on its hinges. Seeing no one, he stepped onto a small exterior landing. Matt, Sarah, Jeremy, and Gooch joined him. Jeremy closed the door behind them as quietly as he could. The mechanical latch caught and locked with a clack that echoed off the apartments across the silent street. They stood perhaps 4 feet above the sidewalk. A ramp to their right sloped down to where it met an incoming walkway ending in a security gate with a mechanical pad, sans electronics, that required a combination to enter. Cars lined the street where they had been parked. An abandoned black Mercedes sat angled into the street 100 feet to their left. Facing them, an alley, dark and obscure in the moonlight and guarded by a 10-foot-high wrought iron gate. Cade squinted into it. Wish I had a pair of NVGs, he said. Night vision goggles, like we used in Mortarville. Where? Jeremy said. Afghanistan. Cade sniffed the air. Feels like I'm back. Damn near smells like it, too. Jeremy scanned the upper floor windows of the apartments opposite. Somebody broke a lot of windows. That happened during the blast, Matt said. Doesn't take much to break these windows around here. The way this street runs, I can see why they'd get hit with a reflected pressure wave. We were kind of protected from it. Somebody broke into all those cars, Sarah said. Cade glanced down the street. Most of the driver's side windows had been smashed. Somebody's had a busy night. No security alarms, Matt mused. Things must be fried even worse than I thought. Jeremy asked him if it killed the batteries. Well, the batteries should be fine. A lot of those cars have security alarms. The fact we haven't heard one is telling. The ramp ended in a collection of bushes and leafy tropical shrubs that separated it from the parking garage entrance. They heard voices from a balcony 2 or 3 floors directly above. When they'd relieved themselves, they huddled on the walk that led to the security gate. Cade suggested they get a look at Lincoln. Lincoln is like a main artery that goes like north-south on the west side near Marina del Rey. And it's neat if you look on a map, like a Google map, you can actually see like the street Princeton, and like you can actually follow exactly where the characters are going. It's kind of cool. So if you want to do that sometime, you can. He turned toward Carter. It's in the street. Going that way, they would have to walk half a block to Carter, then a block along the rear of Bartell's Harley-Davidson before gaining access to Lincoln. Hold up, Jeremy whispered. We can cut through the parking garage in the building across the street. It's a lot shorter. Really? Cade said. I never knew about that. He's right, Matt said. I use it all the time when I walk over to Karina's. It's up that alley. He pointed to the gated alley they'd first seen when exiting onto Princeton. Cade studied the tall iron gates as best he could in the frail light. No way. The gate's not a problem, Jeremy said. It's always open. Then why is it there? Matt shrugged. I think somebody screwed up with the fire code. It's probably a mandatory egress route. Once you get on their radar, it'll tie you up in red tape till your teeth fall out. Well, Cade replied, I got a feeling that's over. What about Gooch? Sarah said. I can take him back to the apartment. You're staying with us, Jeremy replied. He's right, Cade said. From now on, you never, ever leave the apartment alone. We clear? Okay. As for Gooch, Cade added, I like him with us. If there's trouble, he'll pick up on it first. Okay, Sarah nodded. But what if he barks? Won't he attract attention? He won't bark, and if he does, people will head the other way. I spent I don't know how many hours training him. He's better than the dogs we had in the Middle East, or at least as good. He's a smart boy. The only time he gets stupid is when he's around Karina. Matt chuckled. I can relate to that. He's loving this, Jeremy said. Cade agreed. He's a working dog. He likes it when he's got a job to do. They approached the gate, and Matt lifted a heavy but simple latch and pushed it inward. And so, this is all true. So I remember doing, research. I video cameraed, walking out my apartment, and then, just walking down these steps out onto the street, onto Princeton, looking to the left, the gate, the big black iron gate to the left, and, the Harley-Davidson shop on the left. And there really was this gate, this huge, fire gate that was always unlocked. Eventually they locked it, but at the time I did the filming, it was just unlocked. So, it's neat that, all these things, boy, it's bringing back memories for your dad here. Fun memories. It was a neat time, neat place to live. Okay. Where were we? He won't bark. They approached the gate, pushed it inward. All right. They slipped into the alley's deep shadows, and the gate, spring-loaded, swung shut behind them. Jeremy caught it before it closed and let it settle quietly against its latch rail. That's a hell of a gate for something that doesn't do anything, Cade said. Matt smirked. Welcome to L.A. Cade turned on the headlamp and shielded it as they moved forward. They passed a chain-link alcove on the left piled high with construction materials. Gooch ignored it, and Cade followed suit. It appeared they had reached the alley's end, but it continued around a left-hand corner that led to a double security door on the right. A crack of The flashlight's beam revealed an electronic keypad. Combination, Cade said. Try the door, Matt said. I doubt you'll need it. The door opened without resistance. So, Cade said, every electronic lock, every alarm. You got it, Matt replied. Most of them anyway. Cade emitted a low whistle. Cristo. They entered a short interior hall, painted block walls, industrial beige, an opening on the left, steel door straight ahead. Their breathing echoed in the confined space. Sarah moaned. Her breath came loud and rapid. Sarah, Cade whispered. You okay? She's scared, Jeremy said, his arm around her, claustrophobic. He held her tight and stroked her hair. It's okay, baby. We'll be okay. Just breathe. Imagine you're out in the middle of a wide open beach. She calmed, and her breathing slowed. Straight ahead, Matt said. Door at the end, past the staircase on the left. Cade stopped and listened at the stairs. He allowed a crack of light to fall on Gooch, who stood sniffing. The dog's head turned abruptly to the closed door, and his short, floppy ears perked. He emitted a brief, low rumble. Somebody on the other side of that door, boy? Gooch took a step toward it and stopped, rigid and bristling. Somebody's there, Cade said. He killed the light, plunging them into not quite total darkness. Pale moonlight, ever so faint, shone down the stairwell behind them. Cade listened at the door, but heard nothing. Jay, you mind if I borrow that flashlight? Jeremy exchanged it for the headlamp. All right, Jay, Cade said. I want you to squat down and keep low and open that door slow and quiet. I've got the light and my piece. If there's a problem, I'll blind them and blow them away. Matt, stay with Sarah and get back against the wall. He risked just enough light to allow them to get into position. What about Gooch? Sarah said. Don't worry about Gucci. You ready? Jeremy whispered in the darkness. Open it halfway, Cade said, real slow and quiet. Jeremy eased the handle down and slowly pulled on the steel door. It made little noise, but it did make some. Cade blocked Gooch for the moment, crouching in the darkness at the half-open door. He could see absolutely nothing. He thought he heard muffled voices, as if beyond yet another door. Cade leaned back and whispered to Jeremy, Is there another door here? On the left. It opens to the parking garage. Damn, it's a maze down here. It reminds me of Kandahar. He turned on the flashlight, blocked entirely by his hand, and allowed just enough leakage to confirm what Jeremy had told him. Okay, everybody move up. Same routine. When Jeremy pulled on the next door, it scraped briefly on its jamb. The voices hushed. Cade again squatted, peering into the garage. A faint greenish glow illuminated the far end, but they couldn't ascertain its source. Cade could just make out what appeared to be a series of windows along the front wall, perhaps 80 feet away, faintly backlit by the moonlight. A couple of vertical support columns stood in silhouette. The garage reeked of cigarette smoke. Cade caught a brief orange glow, perhaps 50 feet ahead, a little to the right. Well, he told himself, at least you're dealing with civilians. For now. He smiled rueful when he caught the glow of a second cigarette. Then he heard whispers. He felt Gooch at his side and ran his hand down the dog's back. He could just about measure the alarm level by the degree of the bristle, only a small patch between the shoulders. Gooch didn't register these people as much of a threat. Hey, guys, Cade called out in a normal tone, almost friendly. It echoed around the mostly empty garage. Couple of us here want to check out Lincoln. You guys cool? We're cool, someone replied, male, young and scared by the sound of it. I'm going to turn on a flashlight, Cade said. Is there anybody else down here? I don't think so, the kid said. We haven't seen anybody. Who's with you? My girlfriend. Okay, Cade said. Light. He turned on the light and aimed it full on them. They squinted into it, killing their night vision as he intended. A young man, jeans, deep maroon tee, and a young woman, jeans and a yellow sweatshirt, stood by an orange-painted post, smoking with thin, nervous hands. Cade lowered the light to the floor and allowed the beam spread to reveal Gooch, who stepped in front of them. Is that a dog? The kid said, seriously frightened. Yeah, but if you leave him alone, but he'll leave you alone if you leave us alone. No problem, dude. I don't know if you want to go out on Lincoln, though. Cade turned to the others, cautioned them not to reveal their names, and tucked the Beretta into the back of his pants. Jeremy cast his semi-shielded headlamp on a bike rack by the wall. 6 or 8 bikes locked therein, none very appealing. Basic beach cruisers, fat tires, no gears. 2 with front baskets, a third with the front basket and saddle baskets over the rear fender. Cable bike locks. The 4 of them approached the couple. The girl's hand holding her cigarette shook and she appeared to shiver. A couple of scared kids. What's the story out on Lincoln? Cade said. Zombieland, the boy replied. A lot of people. I don't know where they're going. All the cars died. I mean, they just, quit, you know? The street's, totally clogged. How many people? A lot. Dozens or hundreds? Cade asked. The boy shrugged. Shit, man, I don't know. Hundreds, probably. Or thousands, I don't know. It's messed up, the girl said. Nobody's saying anything. They're just walking. Like refugees? Cade asked. Exactly, the boy said. Like zombies, the girl added. Why did all the cars die? We don't know, Cade said. Weird, isn't it? Totally. Her shoulders relaxed a little, but her hand still trembled as she puffed away. Jeremy turned to the boy. You think it's safe to go out there and have a look? I don't know, the boy replied. I don't think it's safe anywhere, but nobody was doing anything. I mean, like I said, they're all just walking, you know? You wonder where they're going. Just trying to get home, Cade said. No looters? We didn't see any, but we didn't hang around. It's pretty creepy. We heard somebody breaking glass, the girl said. Cade nodded. Okay, thanks. You guys take care. Yeah, the boy said. You too. When do you think they'll get the power back on? The girl asked. Matt started to reply, but Cade cut him off. No idea. It could take a week or so. You know, like you've seen with hurricanes and stuff. Yeah, that's what we thought, the girl said. We don't have much food. Or water, the boy added. They'll probably come through with water and stuff in a day or two, the girl said. She looked at Cade. You think they'll bring water and stuff for us? He nodded. I think so, but it might take them a few days to get here, so conserve what you've got. You can drink the water out of the tank on the back of your toilet, Matt said. We flushed it, the girl said. We didn't know the water was off. About all we've got is a couple of cases of Coke, the boy said. You shouldn't have told him that, she said. It's okay, the boy replied. I think they're cool. Your boyfriend's right, Cade said. We're cool, but, he turned to the boy, in the future, listen to your lady here. Don't tell anybody what you've got. No matter how little you've got, there'll be people who've got less. We'll see you around. Okay, the boy said. See you around. Thanks, the girl said. Cade threw her a curious look. For what? For being good people. He nodded with an uncertain smile. You guys take care. You too. Which way? Cade said to Matt. Front left. There's an exit to the street. When they came to a red door and found the source of the light, a green exit sign, still illuminated on its emergency battery power. When they opened the door, they could not immediately see the street. Matt cautioned Cade that the door was self-locking, mechanical, not electrical. If it shut, they'd have to go the long way around to return to the apartment. Okay, wait here, Cade said. Jeremy, keep your hand on your piece, but keep it in your pocket. Be ready to pull it, but don't let anyone see it. If you have to pull it, use it to scare people away if you can. Don't pull that trigger unless you have to, and you damn well mean it. But if you have to, don't hesitate. If you shoot to kill. Understood? Got it. Where are you going? To get something to prop the door open. I'll be right back. Gooch, stay. The exit sign provided sufficient light for him to jog over to a pair of parked cars. They shielded the flashlight and shined it into the first car, a four-door Camry, nothing in the front, a baby carrier in the rear. He tested the doors. Locked. He pocketed the light and stripped off his black tee and laid it against the Camry's rear passenger window and leaned the back of his shoulder against it to keep it from slipping. Then he drove the back of his elbow into the window with a powerful, sharp blow. His elbow bounced off the glass. The car lit up, headlights flashing, horn blaring every half second. Cade cursed. Jeremy joined him. Cade wondered aloud how he managed to choose the one car in L.A. that still worked. Jeremy struck the driver's side window hard with the heel of his hand. His hand bounced off. What the hell? The intermittent headlights lit up the garage and flared around the front windows, the horn almost shocking in its volume, reverberating in the enclosed space. Cade arranged himself against the side of the car with a grunt, drove the back of his elbow into the driver's side window with all the speed and power his years of training could muster. The tempered glass shattered into 1,000 bits, showering the car's seat. Jeremy worked the door open and shone his headlamp into the interior and released the hood latch. Then he opened the hood, found the battery, and worked loose the red lead. The car fell silent. Jesus Cristo, Cade said. I thought all the alarms were dead. Garage must have protected it, Jeremy replied. Cade said there was nothing like announcing your presence to the world. So much for stealth. Jeremy didn't think it would be a problem. He suggested they simply wait a few minutes, which they did. Cade retrieved the baby carrier from the rear seat, and they exited the garage, leaving the carrier wedged in the door. A set of half stairs led to a landing, with a half wall and thick foliage beyond that. They couldn't see the street, nor could they be seen, masked by the foliage and shrouded in deep shadows, scarcely cut by the reflected moonlight. Cade told them to hang back, but stay close. He ascended the stairs, staying low, and issued an odd command. Tsk. Gooch led the way, but when Cade stopped, Gooch stopped. The walk turned left before the low-walled planter, then right, where it opened to the street. Apartments rose on both sides. Cade issued another quiet command. Pfft. Gooch halted and sat next to him, where he crouched on one knee behind the low wall, still invisible from the street. The group drew up behind him. Cade peered around the planter's edge and out onto the 6-lane boulevard. The near side curb lay 40 feet away. A moonlit scene met his eyes, surreal as anything he'd seen in a war-torn third-world country. So, yeah, you just imagine, so they're in this garage, And yeah, you walk out to the left, and there's like a little dip staircase. They put the baby carrier and they walk up, and what they see is, just a weird post-apocalyptic tableau, if you will. And yeah, I can only imagine. Now, of course, there's also, I was like, well, would any of this have actually happened like this? Who knows? All I can tell you is, I'm very glad that you and I have not had to deal with anything remotely like this, and hopefully we never will. Alright, well, it's time for you to get some sleep, kiddo. Okay? Brush your teeth. Good. Got your water ready. Alright. Well, I'll see you in the morning, okay? Come here. Love you, kiddo. Come here. Okay. Alright. I will look forward to seeing you in the morning. Sleep